Okay, so now Prima lost his shoe. It's part 2 if you saw part 1. Basically, I cleaned out the bottom of the hoof. I treated it with a copper sulfate paste. I flushed it with a copper sulfate rinse. Especially the nail holes you want to flush out or pack with pine tar, copper tox, something that dehydrates rather than conditions. The only time I ever use a hoof conditioner is to mix it with copper sulfate as a carrier. So now we're going to wrap the foot, and basically I'm just going to do a quick, easy one. I know, hang on. I'm going to do a quick, easy one with duct tape. That would might have to be changed daily until the farrier got there. It would only protect the foot temporarily. But if the horse is pretty tender-footed, this will work. So I'm going to start with strips of duct tape. I'm just going to cut off or rip off. It's a little bit windy, which makes it tricky. And I'm just going to put my strips stuck to the side. I'm going to do about 5 of these. She doesn't have a great big foot. Okay, then I'm going to take my strips and I'm going to overlay them. So I'm going to take each strip and stick it to the next one. And if you don't get them even, you might need more. That should work. And I'm going to get this ready first. So there, this is going to go on the bottom of the foot, but it sticks all at once. So instead of trying to wrap with your tape on the bottom of the foot, because I use that copper sulfate mixed with a hoof conditioner to dry the foot out before I wrap it, the tape doesn't stick very well. So I just cut out a little square from a feed bag. You can also do a cardboard cutout, the shape of the hoof or the size. You just put a piece of cardboard down like this, take a marker, map out the foot, cut out your cardboard, and then you have a cardboard bottom if you want something more substantial, right? Oh, let me grab my scissors, because I cut this pretty big. So the first thing I'm going to do is see how big it is on her foot. Now, yep, that's about right. So that I'm going to put on first, then I'm going to put on my tape, and then I can just wrap the top. So I want to have everything ready, because once I pick the foot up, it's all got to kind of happen together. So I'm going to pick the foot up. I'm going to stick my bottom there, and there, and there. I'm going to kind of mold it to the foot a little bit. Okay, so I've got my bottom that I taped all together. That's on the bottom with the little piece of feed bag over there. And you can easily hold the horse's hoof between your knees, just like that. So then I'm going to take my duct tape, and I'm going to go around the outside while I push. I'm going to push that down. And the great part about duct tape is you can go right up the leg. You can go right over the coronet band. There's nothing that's going to hurt the horse if you get tape on the coronet band or the skin. If you use vet wrap, that can tighten down. It can get a little too tight and cut off the circulation to the hoof. So duct tape or elasticon are much safer. So there, I've made my boot. There. Then once they put the foot down, I'm going to take the tape and go over the top so the dirt doesn't get in. There's a little gap up front where I missed a spot. So once the hoof is down on the ground, I could just take the tape, and if you don't go up high enough when you're putting a hoof wrap on, if the dirt gets caught down in here, this whole thing pops off in no time. So the feed bag will let the hoof breathe. It's cleaned, it's disinfected and dehydrated. So she could go out with this. It'll keep the dirt out. If I go right up like that, the tape won't hurt her a bit. The drawback is it doesn't last very long. You might have to do this every day or every other day if you have a very sensitive horse that you want protection on and you have to wait for your farrier. It'll last a little longer if they're in the stall, not as long when they're turned out. And if you wanted to turn them out with this on, I'd probably put the cardboard on the bottom instead of the feed bag. That would make it a little bit more durable. But as soon as they walk, they wear through this tape pretty quick.